transform building infrastructure and environments to transform business. Hello everyone, and welcome to WV's next installment of our energy video series. Today we're going geographic specific and talking about New York City local laws. We're going to be talking about the local laws that will affect your building operation and capital projects moving forward to help reduce carbon emissions and overall energy savings in your building to help with these local laws. And for the first one we're going to talk about is Local Law 33.
Hey everyone, so with Local Law 33, this is pretty simple. All it's going to require is that you upload your Energy Star score, which should be gotten through the Energy Star Portfolio Manager tool. And you're going to need to post your score to a government website, a DOB website, which will in turn convert your score that in a 1 to 100 number into a letter grade. Now this letter grade is going to get posted at the front of your building, and that's just about all you need for Local Law 33. Now, next local law we're going to talk about is Local Law 87. Now, similar to posting the Energy Star score with Local Law 33, Local Law 87 requires that buildings perform both retro commissioning and an energy audit of the building. Now, the energy audit will in turn create your Energy Star score. Now, the goal of these is to inform buildings of their energy consumption over a course of about a year, as well as bring to light on any operational issues that might be happening through the retro commissioning efforts. Now, we've touched on audits in our previous video, but to recap what they are, essentially it is where a certified professional is going to come into your building, do a walkthrough and analysis, as well as an analysis of your energy bills to track your kind of historical energy consumption within the building. Now, with this, and as part of their walkthrough, they're going to come up with some ECMs or energy conservation measures for your building. Now, this can be anything as simple as turning off a light switch to maybe more capital intensive projects. On the other hand, retro commissioning, which is the other part required by Local Law 87, this is where equipment as it's installed in a building and it lasts over time, what tends to happen is that its performance decreases. So what retro commissioning does is takes your building's equipment and basically brings it back up to speed closer to its design intent. So bringing it back up to its design capacities, airflows, everything like that. Now, all these efforts must be done based on it must be done every 10 years where you'll submit a report to the DOB, but when it's required is dependent on the last digit of your tax block number. Your given ending tax block number corresponds to a certain year by which this is required. And now we'll go on to Local Law 88.
Thanks, Nick. Going into Local Law 88 and expanding upon Local Law 88 with Local Law 132 and 134. Local Law 88 requires lighting system control upgrades. Basically, what will happen is a consultant will come into your building, take a look at your current lighting system controls and see if they meet current code. If they don't, whatever needs to be done to upgrade your lighting system controls to meet the current code at the time of the work being done. Additionally, Local Law 132 and 134 also require lighting power density to be brought up to speed and to meet current code, and also sub-meters for any tenant space or any space over 10,000 square feet within a building. That pretty much wraps up Local Law 88 and Local Law 132 and 134. And additionally, these local laws need to be complete, and you need to comply with them by the year 2025.
And that brings us to our last local law, which is Local Law 97. Local Law 97 is being discussed a lot lately because it was just released in 2019 and has some pretty big impacts on building operation and ownership. It does this by setting an overall goal of reducing carbon emissions in the city by 40% in 2030 and 80% by 2050. And they gauge this percentage of reduction by a 2005 baseline of carbon emissions in the city. But they're setting these goals on the buildings based on your building square foot. So this will impact any building that is over 25,000 square feet. and we'll have intermediate chapters, 5-year blocks, where they set a carbon emission for your building, and you have to make sure you're reducing and following that path. So your carbon emission is set by your utility usage. So whether that's electric, fuel oil, 2, 4, natural gas, or district steam, each of those are provided with a coefficient. So you add up your utilities for the entire year and you multiply it by that coefficient to give you a tons of CO2 equivalent. And then after adding those, you are given a penalty based on your overages set by that value you're provided by your square foot of your building. And 2024 to 2029, that first intermediate chapter, we're seeing most buildings in compliance. But once we get to that 2030 to 2034 benchmark, we're already seeing buildings with pretty high penalties, up to $500,000, $800,000. And this is on a per annum basis. So considerations for these energy conservation methods should be taken now. So if it's a pretty capital heavy investment, you're able to get ahead of it and start and plan for these projects moving forward. And that's really that's it for local laws this go. We hope to see you in the next video.